The sun was just setting, painting the busy market street with golden light. People were rushing home, shouting at each other, and merchants were packing their goods. Mira walked down the street, her heels clicking sharply on the pavement, dressed in a bright dress and perfectly done hair. She noticed a beggar sitting by the corner, holding a torn cup. He was thin, dirty, and shaking slightly from the cold. "Ugh, look at this man," Mira whispered loudly, laughing. "How pathetic." She nudged her friend Lila and they both laughed while pointing at him. The beggar's eyes flicked up, but he said nothing. A few people nearby looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke up. Mira continued mocking him, making exaggerated gestures, laughing louder. That's when a shadow passed behind her. The shadow belonged to an old man who was sitting quietly on a bench nearby. His clothes were neat and his eyes were sharp. He didn't say anything at first, just watched Mira with an unreadable expression. Mira laughed one last time before walking away, proud of herself for making everyone notice how funny she was. Little did she know the old man was following her. She didn't see him until she arrived at the fancy cafe where she often met her friends. The old man quietly stepped behind her, waiting. Mira's laughter had barely faded when she entered the cafe. She waved at the waiters, ordered the most expensive drink on the menu, and began showing off her new shoes to Lila. "I can't believe how cold that beggar looked," she said. "Honestly, some people are just hopeless." Lila giggled, nodding, but a chill ran down Mira's spine when she noticed the old man standing near the counter. He held a small notebook and looked directly at her, almost like he knew something about her. "What are you staring at?" Mira asked, trying to sound brave, but her voice wavered slightly. The old man smiled faintly. "I know your name," he said calmly. "And I know a lot about your family." Mira froze. "My family?" she scoffed. "Who cares?" "You should care," he said. "Because the truth will catch up to you sooner than you think." Mira laughed nervously and turned away. But his words dug into her chest, like an icy knife. Over the next few days, Mira noticed strange things happening. People she didn't know would nod at her in the street, whispering her name. A letter arrived at her house, written in elegant handwriting. "Do you remember the beggar you mocked? Do you remember how you made him feel? The world has a way of revealing the truth." Mira's face turned pale. She tried to ignore it, but every shadow seemed heavier, every whisper louder. One Saturday, Mira attended a large charity event. The hall was filled with people dressed in fine clothes, chandeliers sparkling above their heads. She laughed and posed for photos, pretending nothing had happened. Suddenly the crowd went silent. Mira turned toward the sound and there he was, the beggar. But he wasn't the same man. His clothes were neat, his hair combed, and he walked with confidence. He smiled at Mira and spoke, his voice calm but full of authority. "Good evening, everyone. I am Adrian Hale, CEO of Hale Enterprises. And I believe some introductions are long overdue." Mira's jaw dropped. She stumbled back as whispers spread through the crowd. Adrian had been the beggar she mocked, but years earlier, after losing everything in a fire, he had started over. No one in the room had known his story. "I survived," Adrian continued, "and I've never forgotten those who humiliated me." Mira felt every eye in the room on her. Her face burned with shame. The crowd froze as Adrian turned to Mira directly. "And you," he said softly, "should always remember that kindness matters more than appearances." Mira wanted to disappear. Every laugh she had shared at his expense replayed in her head. From that day on, Mira changed. She stopped mocking people, stopped caring so much about showing off. She learned the hard way that pride and cruelty always find a way to meet the truth. Mira later became involved in volunteering at shelters and helping people in need. Adrian, now a successful businessman, still remembered her. But instead of revenge, he offered guidance. And Mira never forgot the lesson. Never underestimate the quiet strength of someone who has been hurt. The moral was clear. People are not always what they seem. Every act of cruelty has a way of catching up. And sometimes, the person you humiliate today could be the one who changes your life tomorrow.